broke his heart in college, and we get a chance to make the heart of Brendan Haywood feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Coby White. We knew that Chris Dunn had seemingly become a guy the Bulls had felt was more maybe a backup than a starter. Highest drafted Tar Heel, Mr. B. Wood, since Harrison Barnes went 7th in 2012.
Well, listen, Coby White is somebody that really came out of nowhere because we all thought that Coby White was going to have a good year, but we thought he was going to be somebody that stays for a couple of seasons and then maybe goes to the pros after 2 or 3 years. But it was clear to see early on that this kid was truly special. He worked on his game. He has the size. Strong guard. Reminds me of an early Gilbert Arenas, not the finished product that was averaging 29 a game for the Washington Wizards, but when he first came out, you were like, what is Gilbert Arenas? Is he a point guard? Is he a 2? And you had to figure it out, and guess what? We figured out that he's a baller, and that's exactly what Coby White is. Coby White is a baller. His game has the flash. He has the hair that I'm jealous of. Listen, Coby White's going to do tremendous. I think he's going to be in a great fit. He's put into a great fit in Chicago, and I see nothing but upside for this kid.
LeBron has the hair you're jealous of, but I digress.
No, I'm not jealous of that, Green.
So, look, I think this is another example where there was a lot of moaning and groaning in Chicago during the lottery. And I saw Jim Boylan in the back of the room when we were at the Hilton for the lottery selection or order that night. And, a lot of the Bulls fans thought, okay, we got a shot at, one of the big names. But I think, once again, I'm just trying to be Mr. Positive here. I think this works out for him. Ultimately, dropping a 7, but getting someone like Coby White who can step in right now and be that point guard for Chicago, ultimately, I think that will be fine. Things are going to be okay.
And you know what, for me, Andy, he doesn't even have to be a point guard. He can be a combo guard because you have a Zach LaVine who's a combo guard. The one thing I look at, both those guys can just play basketball. They have size to defend. And another thing to add about Coby White, what I was very impressed watching him, Brendan, for his size, he has elite speed.
Yes.
And, there's most of the guys at 6'5", handling the basketball, kind of strong. They don't have this type of elite speed. He has elite speed to go with Zach LaVine. And you have Market and you have Wendell Carter Jr. If he stays in Chicago, this is a great combination for the Bulls.
I'm glad you brought up the speed, and that's why I compared him to Gilbert Arenas, because the biggest thing I saw when I played with Gil in D.C. was even though Gil was 6'3", 6'4", he moved just as fast as the 5'10", 5'11" guys. When you talk to the coaching staff at Carolina, they'll tell you Coby White is just as fast as Ty Lawson, but guess what? The kid is 6'5", legit.
And continues to grow. Top scorer in 2018 FIBA, the under-18 team, and then 5th highest scoring for a freshman at North Carolina. But how about the story now for that other team, the Dukies and the Brotherhood? Because when you look at David Griffin, Tom, and you think about his movement down, despite what our good friend Seth Davis has said, because I know he's been talking about not first round, a lot of people thought Cam Reddish was a guy who could be the 4th best player in this draft, and now he's waiting maybe to rejoin his teammate Zion, as again reportedly it would be the Pels who would be picking here for the Hawks today.
Why do you keep saying reportedly?
Because
we know that one's happening.
Well, you gotta be.
Oh, that's true. You gotta keep it straight. Be very curious to see what they do here. I believe Griff, whoever he wanted it for, he believed he could get it 8. I think he wasn't worried about what happened he knew these other guards were going to go in this window. I think he was looking to get, and if it's Cam Reddish, again, blue chip talent and the ability for a lot of upside as they continue to put all those pieces together. They do need size at some point. They got to get some serious size there because they have so many perimeter players that are going to need the ball, with Ingram, with Ball, with Josh Hart, so on and so forth.
Well, there's no guarantee that they're keeping this pick either. I mean, there could be a lot of movement. I will say this about Cam Reddish. I kind of view him as almost like the 5th Beatle, okay? He was the player that didn't get the attention, but he's a little bit more of an introvert with the extroverts of Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, and to some extent Trey Jones. He didn't seek that attention and didn't really want it. And so I think sometimes because of that, he was labeled like this sort of outsider, how hard does he work and all that, which I think was a little unfair because he wasn't the guy in the spotlight, nor did he want it. So we'll see. I don't want to judge him yet.
Well, go ahead, Smitty.
Well, the one thing for me is coming into this, before he got a chance, to play his first game at Duke, this was a kid you talked about, an elite shooter. Now, he didn't shoot the ball well at Duke because I thought they made him a spot-up shooter. I saw him play in high school. He was better with the ball in his hand. But what I can say is, what I saw when he did at Duke is, he was able to change into an elite defender, B. Wood. And this was not a tag that he had coming out of high school. So if he can get to knocking down his shot and say if he's in New Orleans, he has a passing ball in Drew Holiday. He has Zion who's running the court. And at 6'8", 6'9", shooting the basketball, he could be the story of this draft because he has that type of talent.
We know this much, a lot of talent for a Jarrett Culver. A lot of like for him on this set, but also for now him having his dream come true as he's been drafted and gets a chance to chat with Jared Greenberg. Jared?
Well, the newest member of the Minnesota Timberwolves, after a whole bunch of things happened to make that a reality for you, is Jarrett Culver. Man, you ready for the Twin Cities?
I feel like I am. It's a blessing to be in the league and just to get this far. And I mean, this is a time of success, and I'm going to celebrate it with my family and just enjoy it.
From Big 12 Player of the Year during your time at Texas Tech to being a high lottery pick now, what should they expect out of you in Minnesota?
They should expect a lot of hard work, me to be coachable, to be a winner. Everywhere I went, I was able to win. A lot of people around me are winners, so I feel like I'll be able to do that.
Jarrett, the Timberwolves have been through a lot over the last year. I had a conversation the other day with Karl Anthony Towns, and he told me in no uncertain terms, they are done rebuilding and they have one goal, to make the playoffs. Are you ready to join Kat and Andrew Wiggins on that goal and make that a reality?
I'm ready to join all of them. That's one of my dreams too, just to be able to get to the NBA playoffs, win the finals, and be with a great team. So I mean, his goals right there, I'm with it.
How exciting of a night is this for you and your entire family?
It's beyond exciting. It's truly a blessing just to be here. I just feel truly blessed, man.
What are you going to do with that Phoenix Suns hat?
I don't know yet. I don't know what's going to go on. You never know.
Well, sign it and keep it somewhere because it's probably going to be worth a lot of money one day.
For sure. I appreciate it.
Jarrett Culver, congratulations, the newest member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thanks, Jarrett.
All right, Jared and Jarrett, perhaps there's a podcast waiting to happen. We take you to Jaxson. Jaxson Hayes is the pick for the Pels, in for the Hawks at number 8. Andy, tell us about him.
Well, I will say at least I got this one right in my mock draft. So
okay.
I got to credit myself on this one because I thought, as Tom said, that Atlanta needed another big. Now, Jaxson Hayes was hurt for the NIT, so we didn't get a chance to fully see him at Texas develop. But Texas, I don't care who their head coach has been. With Rick Barnes, Shaka Smart, they've had great successful bigs. LaMarcus Aldridge, Mo Bamba, Jared Allen in this building. There's definitely been players that have been successful. He's only scratching the surface, B, and I'd like to hear from you because you were doing what he was doing much higher level.
Yes, I like Mr. Hayes because you know what he does?
So take it away.
Higher level.
Yes, he dunks and blocks shots. And that's all I was doing at UNC, and that's all that he was doing at Texas. And you need a guy like that. We're talking about these guards, and we're talking about so many different things they can do on the perimeter, but you still need somebody to do the dirty work. You still need a guy that can get those defensive rebounds, in those defensive possessions, block shots, give you an interior presence. I know they're trying to make it seem like big men are dinosaurs, but big men that are versatile and are able to block shots, rebounds, and then maybe switching to pick and roll and move their feet, those guys are still very valuable, kind of similar to like a Clint Capella.
Yeah, you're totally right, Brendan. And what I love is that he's still adjusting to his size. He was a 6-foot freshman in high school that grew to 6'11". Wow. He's a freakish athlete, so he still has time to grow. People are looking at his stat just 10 and 5. Here's a guy, when you're a 6-foot freshman and the next thing you know you're a 6'11" senior in college, you still haven't developed into that size yet. Because he's a great athlete and his parents are great athlete, he has a chance to grow into be something that could be a shot blocker and just more than a guy that dunks and rebounds.
And that's kind of like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had this giant growth spurt. He was a guard originally, and I'm not saying he's going to be Anthony Davis, but in terms of similarity with when he grew.
And his father, as Smitty talks about, obviously longtime tight end and tight end coach, now the GM and head coach of the XFL franchise in St. Louis.
Don't forget Mom. She hooped at Drake now.
No, I know that. I just wanted to say the XFL franchise in St. Louis. I knew they had the Blues. I wasn't sure about that. I am sure about this, that now you wait for the guys that dip, and there's always a conversation about that. For Cam Reddish now as we continue to look, because look, when the beginning of the season for college began, right? B, would you tell me?
Yeah.
Those 3 Dukies seemed like they could be 3 of the first 4 picks, let alone 3 of the first 8. Now you get down into the 9 spot. Washington Wizards alum that you are, how about where the Wiz are here, and is Reddish a fit for them?
Well, listen, the Wiz have a lot of problems, so Cam Reddish can definitely fit for them. They're looking for somebody that can fill a lot of different slots, a lot of different holes. And listen, Cam Reddish didn't have the type of performance that we thought he would have. I agree with Steve that he kind of got lost in the mix. Cam Reddish was a kid that when you saw him playing high school was used to having the ball in his hands. Being the third option, I think he struggled with that. I think his confidence wavered a little bit. That's why you saw him only shoot 35% from the floor, which is not great for what somebody that's supposed to be an elite level lottery pick. And then 33% from three. Those aren't the numbers you want to see from a shooter, but when you watch him play, the mechanics are there, the form is there, the footwork is there, and then I love the fact that he became a defensive player. I had no idea he could defend at that level. He really fit in defensively, so I feel if you get a guy that's able to commit defensively and then he gets more confident in his shot, he'll be just fine at the next level.
Two things that happen all in one foul swoop as Rui Hachimura is the pick. He and Brandon Clark both among the top group forwards at